What does death feel like?
Mac asked the crowd at a Balloonerism listening party at a nostalgic little record store near Amsterdam Centraal. All those in attendance were left in a cloud of wonderful weed smoke. Or was it wonder in weed smoke? It probably depended on who you asked, as the echo of the telephone was swept out the door into the cold, dark night with the first attendee to leave. In a room full of people contemplating death, there was Lady and Mr. Lady was perched on the musty cardboard cover of an old jazz record that was stored inside a wooden stand labeled the medicine cabinet, and Mr. didn't exist. She wondered if she was falling for her hallucinations, and it was the line that followed that ensured her she should. The smoke in the air certainly didn't help, seeing as the levels of letters floating around the room were far too high for a lady her size. Likewise, a lady her size was far too high to be floating around a room, and yet, there she was, sitting on the same musty jazz record while he taught her how to dance. They held hands like tandem skydivers as they floated, spinning, kissing, and making love. As quickly as they were swept into the air, they came crashing down. She was parched, mouth drier than a dehumidifier in the Atacama. She wondered if there were any ladybugs in the Atacama. With a sudden sense of slumber washing over her, she asked Mr. to fly over to the 90s era vending machine that was situated in the back of the room. Mr. asked her what she wanted, so she put her 2 cents in, but nothing came out. It became impossible for her to hold her head up. Even with eyes closed, the room wouldn't stop spinning. She prayed for her lover to return. Where is he? To save her. Where are you? Or at least to accompany her as she died. Mr. Bug? Terror filled her body from her head to her shell to her. The fear of death was replaced by the fear of living a life stuck in the hollow hole of her mind. Her I wanted to get back out, not realizing that's where it had always been. As she thought of moving, she sensed an echo. It started low and quiet and then filled the hollow chamber she'd yet to escape. The echo was too in to clearly make out. Something about dragons dying for clout. Trying to quiet her mind, she focused on the hum that engulfed the crowd.
The best is yet to come.
She wasn't sure who said it, but she forced herself to believe it. She felt optimistic about her life for the first time in a long time, desperately wanting to survive the night. After a minute, or maybe an hour, she heard the same voice talking about ladybugs flying south for the winter. She'd never dreamt of flying south before, but once the idea was planted, it grew like weed. It was all she could see out of the hole at the top of the eternally dark fishbowl her eye lay curled up in, shivering on the cold, hard bottom. I'm a ladybug? She wasn't sure she was, or if she'd ever been, but she exclaimed it nonetheless, mostly to prove to herself she could still speak. She knew she'd found her answer. To solidify her conviction, her lover appeared before her. We must go. The ladybugs are flying south for the winter, he exclaimed. Despite existing separate from time and only in space, she knew they had to hurry. Their life was waiting on the other side of the door, the same door they'd snuck in through 2 months earlier. She was going to be the second of the attendees to leave the thick scent of vintage clothes, vinyl, and weed for the outside aromas of stroopwafel and weed. That was Amsterdam. As she thought about moving, she sensed an echo. It started low and quiet, and then filled the hollow chamber she'd yet to escape. The echo was too in to clearly make out. Something about dragons dying for clout? Believing if she sat with the echo and stayed in the chamber, she'd disappear inside, watching life the size of a pinpoint from inside the dark hole for the rest of her life, unable to live and unable to die. Terrified of such an existence, she hustled, rocking side to side, as if floating in a stormy sea as she fluttered to the exit, where her lover clung to a crack in the door. He gestured for her to follow him, and as soon as he dipped into the darkness, she had a moment of clarity. Dragons! We're not dragons! Terror paralyzed her, but her revelation was too late. The vacuum left behind by her lover sucked her through the crack and into the cold, dark night. As a ladybug in the middle of winter, she found herself wandering into one final wonder.
Why does death steal life?
As she fell asleep on the 7 steps to heaven.